What is going on, guys? I am Consumer Tech Review, and today I'm going to be doing a review of the Redragon K552 60% mechanical keyboard. But first, I'm going to show you the unboxing, which I did 3 weeks ago, and then I'm going to fast forward 3 weeks to today, and I'm going to do my review after 3 weeks. And if at any point in the video you guys want to check out the exact K552 keyboard I have, I'll have an Amazon link below. All right, guys, so I just got this keyboard in, and now we're going to do the unboxing of it. So on top, we have an image of the K552 that is actually glossy. It almost looks like a sticker on top of it, the Redragon logo, and some branding and stuff on here. On the front, just got a sticker for opening it. Nothing on this side, nothing on that side, and nothing on that side. Now flipping it over, we got another picture of it, and then basically saying it's a high quality LED mechanical gaming keyboard with high precision, double injected keycaps, full key conflict free, spill proof, which is really cool, and Windows keys can be disabled in gaming. That's pretty sweet. All right, but now let's jump inside and get to the actual keyboard. All right, so right away, it's definitely packaged very well in here. And wow, overall first impression, I knew that this was a metal keyboard, but super heavy. I mean, really, really heavy. Looks like this is for taking off some keycaps. We can get rid of this. Doesn't look like there's anything else in the box. So it's super cool that they give this to you just for taking off those keycaps. Looks like we have a little covering over the gold-plated USB. And just first impression, really nice cable, very thick. Now, wow, this is super heavy. Now this one is actually the cherry blue switch equivalent. It's basically Redragon building its own blue switches. But right off the bat, wow, does this thing look good. I mean, that is hefty right there. It's heavy. Let's get a sound test of those keycaps, which should be very clicky because they are the blue switch equivalent. And if you guys don't know, blue switches are the clickiest. So let's get a listen. Oh yeah, those are really, really nice. Right off the bat, they have this nice texture. It's much more grippy. It's actually much more grippy than normal. And they do have this really cool font. Looks like over here we got the Redragon, and this is an RGB, which I did find kind of funny because on the packaging it's just red, but this is an RGB keyboard. Now it does have a little lip around it that goes right here. You can see that pretty prominently right there, but this thing is metal for sure. It is very sturdy. Let's flip it over. As well, inside of the packaging, we get a Redragon little sticker, which is really cool. And then we get a Redragon mechanical keyboard manual. That's pretty cool. Okay, so setting those inside and getting this thing upside down, it actually has really good rubber grips right here. They're actually more than just normal rubber grips. They have actually a pattern in them to make them a little bit more grippy. And then on the bottom, it looks like these are actually developed so that when you flip them up, the rubber actually wraps around completely over top. You can see it goes from there all the way to there. So when it's flat, the rubber's still there. Then when it's open, the rubber's at the top. Now, just from first feeling, those things are very, very nice to push up and down. Just listen to that. Man, I cannot wait to use this thing. The cable's super nice and it is wrapped. It is much thicker than a normal cable. But guys, that's the unboxing, and then I'm gonna use this thing for a week, and then in 2 seconds, you're gonna get the review after a week. Coming up right now. Okay guys, now fast forwarding 3 weeks. That was 3 weeks ago when I got the product, and now I've been using this thing every single day. But now 3 weeks earlier, I got this product 3 weeks ago and I shot those clips, and now I've been using this keyboard every single day as my daily driver for my keyboard. And now I'm gonna do my review, the pros and the cons, and I'm gonna tell you my own real life experience that I've had with this keyboard. But jumping right into it, I have to tell you, I absolutely love this keyboard. I loved it from the moment I took it out of the box. There's a few cons, there's actually quite a few, but overall I love this keyboard. So the first pro is something you notice immediately when you take it out of the box, and that's the build quality. This thing's base plate is made out of metal alloy and ABS plastic, and wow, is it heavy and sturdy. A lot of the competitors in the same price range are made completely of plastic. When you take it out of the box, it is very light. When you take this thing out of the box, it's heavy. It has some heft to it, and actually on the keyboard deck, if you put your fingers between the keys, it's metal. It's full metal.
in this price range for keyboards, it has really, really amazing build quality. But with that, it's going to move us into our second pro, which is the RGB, which is an incredibly important aspect of mechanical gaming keyboards. Now, there is a con with this, and I will mention it after I do all the pros, so stick around for that. However, the RGB is freaking amazing. It's so good. I love the RGB so much, I almost just got demonetized by YouTube. This thing has a ton of different color modes for the RGBs and individual key lighting, which is really awesome. I love that because I do a lot of video editing and I like to actually map out my keys for colors for the different tools and such when editing. So this is definitely a big pro for me. However, this thing would also look really, really cool with pudding keycaps, which if you do want to mod out your keyboard, I definitely would recommend it for this keyboard. It actually might be something that I'm going to do later. So if you want to see that, definitely comment it below. Now moving to the next pro, this keyboard has blue switches. Now these are not Cherry MX blue switches. Obviously in this price range, this is definitely a more budget keyboard. You still get really, really nice switches. These are blue switches though, so they're going to be just like a Cherry MX blue. If you don't know, that is the most clicky. It's loud, it's tactile, and it's very clicky. I like that. I like loud and obnoxious. That's my shtick. If you guys like that too, you will like these blue switches. If you've never used a mechanical keyboard before, these are gonna be really, really clicky. So if you're working in an office, probably not the best idea. However, if you're in your room and you like the satisfying click like I do, it's definitely the way to go. So moving to the specifics, these are actually Utemu switches behind here, which are basically a copy of the Cherry MX Blues. There are a lot of different copies. There are, bad copies and good copies. These are actually fairly good and they feel really, really, really tactile, really nice. I like it, and for the money, you can't really get much better. Redragon does some really amazing stuff with their keyboards. Moving more into the specifics, it takes 50 grams of key press for actuation, which I think might be a little bit more than the Cherry MX Blues, but it is not too heavy. I like this a lot. If you guys if you're used to really, really expensive keyboards with a very low gram amount for actuation, you're probably not getting this keyboard, but for normal people, this thing's gonna feel like a Ferrari if you're driving a Honda Civic right now. And it does 2 millimeters of keystroke travel, so essentially you're getting basically most of the stats in the same area that the Cherry MX switches do. Now moving to the next pro is probably gonna be a good one if you like drinks as much as I do. You guys know I love drinks. It's spill proof. You spill some water on it, you spill some soda on it, you're good to go. It's not gonna ruin your keyboard, which is honestly for gaming, it's kind of a must. You have people over, the LAN party, things happen, right? Stuff happens. Better to be ready than not to be ready. That's why it's just great to have spill proof. It's just one of those little cons. You throw it in there. It's not gonna make it like a yes or a no, but it's nice to have it. Moving to the next pro. The next pro is anti-ghosting keys. All of them completely anti-ghosting. Anti-ghosting is essentially, let's say you have a keyboard with 100 keys on it and only 20 are anti-ghosting. It means you can press 20 of them at a time before the 21st one does not actually actuate and read inside your computer. So basically, gaming, you're pressing a lot of keys at the same time. These are all anti-ghosting. So if you press every single key at the same time, it would still actuate, it would still read inside of your PC, which is super good. Now the next pro is if you want to customize your keyboard a lot, these things are hot swappable for different switches. I'm not 100% sure if you can swap them out for Cherry MXs or other ones. I'm pretty sure that you can only stick to Utemu. However, if you do want to switch to a little bit of a quieter keyboard, you can get the Reds, but just a nice thing to have. I don't think you can switch to the Cherry MXs, so I wouldn't buy this if you do want to get Cherry switches and put that in this. Now the next pro is the keys. Actually, the keycaps have a slightly rougher surface than just a smooth one, and it's not a bad thing. It's not uncomfortable at all. It's very slight, but it does add a significant amount of grip, which I wasn't expecting. The keyboard I was using before this was completely smooth, and just adding that little amount of grip, it actually helped, and it lessened fatigue while gaming for a long amount of time. Now guys, with everything that this gives you, fantastic alloy amazing RGB per key lighting. It's spill proof, 100% anti-ghosting keycaps, and it's hot swappable. I mean, you're getting a lot for really not that much money. Again, if you guys do want to go check this out, I'll link below. But now we're going to move to the cons. So stick around if you are worried about some features in it, because there are a few. For me, they weren't a deal breaker, obviously, because I'm using this, but they might be for you. Now, one thing is, a lot of Redragon keyboards have software that comes with it. I had another Redragon keyboard, and it had actually really good software. However, with this one, I could not get the software to work. It kept having an error, and I don't even know if they support the software anymore. However, I think all that the software does is control the RGB, which I actually had to find out that it's all worked through the keyboard, and how you do it is you actually hold FN and then you touch your tilde key. And you do that twice until there's 2 red flashes on the right side, and then you hit FN and you do the right arrow, and that will control the color on the tilde key, and that is how you do per key lighting. And then after it is on the color that you want, you will touch the keyboard. It sounds complicated, it's not, trust me, just bear with me. You touch each key that you want for what color that you want. It sounds complicated, but as soon as you do it, you're like, wow, this is actually quite good and better than a software actually is, because you can do it directly on your keyboard and you can see how it would look, not on the screen, but on the keyboard. So it's kind of terrible that they don't have the software working. I think, however, the way that they have the color set up is really good. Also, to change the different settings and modes and rainbow colors, you're actually going to press FN again, and you're going to do home page, or basically all those keys over by the right side of your keyboard. All the multimedia keys function as a different color mode, a different color scheme, and it's actually really easy to cycle through those, and you hit them a couple times. There's 3 modes for each key. It's fairly simple. It's fun to play with, and there's a ton of modes. I mean, there's going left to right, there's rainbow coming from the center, there's, you know, everything really that you want on a keyboard. There's glowing, there's breathing, everything. It has a lot. It has quite a bit preset into it, but you can also change the colors whatever you want per key, whatever. Really customizable. Kind of a con that you don't have the software, but you know, you can't get everything, and for the price, still not a deal breaker for me. Now the next con is it's not Cherry MX switches, and you know, for the price you don't expect it. However, it's always going to be a con in any keyboard that doesn't have Cherry MX switches. Just something to consider. I definitely want to tell you guys, this is not a Cherry MX Blue keyboard. This is a Temu switches. They feel very similar to a Cherry MX Blue switch. Don't have quite the refinement that a Cherry MX Blue switch has. But for the money, you're not really going to get much better switches until you spend the extra money for the MX Blue. Now the next con is obviously a 60% keyboard. However, they do have multimedia keys on the right, and they didn't include volume controls. You have to hold FN through volume controls, or literally change all of the FN keys, all of the F12, all of those, to all the function keys to just do the multimedia functions, which I don't want to do that. I want separated, dedicated sound. You know, I need that. It's a gaming keyboard. Come on, why didn't you just switch the page up and page down to volume up and volume down? That's what I would have done. However, they didn't do that. It's a small con for me. Is it a deal breaker? It might be. I think the next keyboard is definitely going to have dedicated speaker sound controls. It did bother me quite a bit, actually. Now, number 4 is, I gave you the information on how to change the colors and stuff. That information was not included very well at all. It was very hard to find, and I didn't even find it from Redragon. They really should really try to teach you how to change the color of your keyboard. That's obviously not an issue right now, but I hope that in the future Redragon, if they have an implementation of RGB like this one does, that they do show you a little bit better, teach you, have some instructions on how to do it a little bit better. But guys, that is my review of the Redragon K552. Really fantastic 60% keyboard. Probably the best for the price. I have to say, it is my favorite mechanical keyboard with blue switches for the price. It's amazing. If you're getting into gaming, yes, there's a few cons, but wow, this thing for the money blew me away. So guys, if you do want to upgrade your keyboard, this is definitely a really good option. If you enjoyed this video and it helped you out, help me out and throw a like below. This was Consumer Tech Review, and I'll see you guys later.